Have you ever felt your ambitions slowly fading, without really knowing why? Have you ever looked back at the dreams you once had and wondered where that fire went? And have you ever noticed how sometimes the biggest obstacles in life aren't dramatic failures, but quiet habits we barely notice? Most people believe ambition disappears because of age, responsibility, or bad luck. But the truth is often more subtle than that. Sometimes ambition doesn't vanish all at once. It shrinks slowly, quietly, day by day, through a habit so ordinary that almost everyone practices it. This is the story of a man named Daniel Mercer. Daniel was once the kind of person people described as full of potential. When he was younger, he carried a quiet determination that others could feel. He wasn't the loudest person in the room. He didn't boast about big dreams, but he had them. When Daniel graduated from college, he believed his life would become something meaningful. Not necessarily famous or extraordinary, but meaningful. He imagined building a career he was proud of, starting a small business one day, helping his parents retire comfortably, creating a life that felt intentional rather than accidental. At 22, ambition lived quietly inside him like a steady flame. His first job was at a mid-sized logistics company. Nothing glamorous. Rows of grey desks, fluorescent lights, a break room that smelled faintly of burnt coffee. But Daniel didn't mind. He told himself it was just the beginning. Every evening after work, he read books about business and personal growth. He listened to podcasts during his commute. He wrote ideas in a notebook before going to sleep. He had plans, small ones at first, but real ones. Years passed. The early excitement of adulthood slowly gave way to routine. Daniel got promoted once, then again a few years later. His salary increased steadily. His life became comfortable in the quiet way many lives do. A decent apartment, reliable car, weekend dinners with friends. On the outside, things looked fine, but something subtle began to change. At first, Daniel didn't notice it. When he was 22, he used to think about possibilities. What could I build? What could I learn? What could I become? But sometime in his late 20s, those questions started to disappear. In their place came a different kind of thinking. Not dramatic pessimism, just quiet acceptance. At work, Daniel began hearing the same phrases over and over. That's just how the company works. Don't expect things to change. People like us don't start businesses. It's safer to stay where you are. At first, Daniel disagreed silently. But something interesting happens when you hear the same ideas long enough. They start to sound reasonable. One evening, while sitting with co-workers after work, someone joked about people who try to start their own companies. Most of them fail anyway, the co-worker said. Why risk everything? Everyone laughed. Daniel laughed too. Not because he fully agreed, but because it felt easier. And that moment contained the beginning of something he didn't yet recognize. Over the next few years, Daniel developed a habit, a quiet one. Every time a new idea appeared in his mind, he dismissed it quickly, not with anger, not with fear, just with a small sentence he repeated silently, "That probably wouldn't work." When he thought about starting a side project, he said, "Someone else already does it better." When he considered learning new skills, he thought, "It's too late to start now." When he imagined changing careers, he told himself, "It's too risky." Each of those thoughts seemed harmless, logical even, but slowly, something inside him began shrinking. Ambition doesn't disappear suddenly. It contracts. And the habit that shrinks it most quietly is the habit of dismissing possibility too quickly. Daniel didn't stop dreaming because he failed. He stopped dreaming because he stopped entertaining the idea that dreams might work. One winter evening, Daniel stayed late at the office finishing a report. The building had grown quiet. Most people had already gone home. As he walked toward the elevator, he noticed the cleaning staff working on the empty floor. One of them was an older man named Victor. Victor had been working there for years. He was the kind of person most employees barely noticed, but Victor always greeted people with a calm smile. That night, Daniel made a casual comment. "Long day, huh?" Victor chuckled. "Every day is a long day when you spend most of it cleaning up after other people." Daniel smiled politely. Then Victor asked something unexpected. "Do you like working here?" The question felt simple, but Daniel hesitated. "I guess it's okay," he said. Victor leaned on his mop handle. "Just okay?" Daniel shrugged. "It pays the bills." Victor nodded slowly. Then he said something Daniel would remember for years. "You know what the most dangerous habit is?" Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What?" Victor smiled gently. "Learning to settle faster than you should." Daniel laughed lightly. "Most people would say settling is being responsible." Victor shook his head. "No. Responsibility is paying your bills. Settling is when you stop asking yourself what else might be possible." Daniel didn't reply immediately. Victor continued. "Most young people start with ambition," he said. "But over time they develop a habit of dismissing their own ideas before giving them a chance." Daniel felt something shift in his chest. Victor went on. "They say things like, 'That won't work,' or 'I'm not the type of person who does that.'" He tapped the floor gently with the mop. "But ambition doesn't die from failure." He looked directly at Daniel. "It dies from quiet self-rejection." Daniel stood there in silence. Victor returned to his work, as if the conversation had ended. But Daniel's mind didn't stop turning. That night, driving home through the dark city streets, Daniel thought about the last 5 years of his life. He realized something uncomfortable. He hadn't actually failed at many things, because he hadn't really tried many things. Instead, he had developed a habit of eliminating possibilities before they even had a chance to breathe. And that habit had slowly reduced the size of his life. The next morning, Daniel opened the notebook he hadn't touched in years. Inside were old ideas, business concepts, projects, skills he once wanted to learn. He noticed something surprising. Many of those ideas weren't unrealistic. They were simply unexplored. Over the following months, Daniel made a small change. Not a dramatic life transformation, just a quiet rule. Whenever a new idea appeared in his mind, he would no longer dismiss it immediately. Instead of saying, "That probably won't work," he asked a different question. "What would happen if I tried?" Sometimes the answer was still no, but something important changed. Possibility returned. Daniel started learning again. He took online courses during the evenings. He experimented with a small digital project on weekends. Nothing revolutionary, nothing that made headlines. But ambition slowly began to expand again. Because ambition isn't a personality trait, it's a condition created by the questions we allow ourselves to ask. 3 years later, Daniel's life looked different. Not perfect, not wildly successful, but alive again. He had launched a small consulting service helping local businesses optimize shipping logistics. It started with just one client, then 2. Eventually, it became a side business generating more income than he expected. But the real change wasn't financial. It was internal. Daniel realized something powerful. The biggest threat to ambition isn't failure. It's the quiet habit of assuming failure before action. When we reject our own ideas too quickly, we slowly train ourselves to expect less from life. And once expectations shrink, ambition follows. Victor, the janitor, had been right. Ambition doesn't disappear because we grow older. It disappears because we become too practiced at saying no to ourselves. And the strange thing is, most people never notice it happening. They simply wake up one day and realize their dreams have grown smaller, not because the world forced them to shrink, but because their own thinking quietly did. So if there is one lesson hidden inside Daniel's story, it is this. Be careful about the habits you practice inside your own mind, because every time you dismiss possibility too quickly, you teach your ambition to become smaller. But the good news is this. Ambition can grow again. The moment you start asking a different question. Not will this fail, but what might happen if I try? Sometimes the distance between an ordinary life and a meaningful one is not talent, not money, not luck. Sometimes it is simply the willingness to stop rejecting your own potential. So tonight, or tomorrow morning, or the next time a new idea appears quietly in your mind, pause for a moment. Don't dismiss it too quickly. Let the possibility exist for a while, because the hidden habit that shrinks ambition is quiet self-doubt. But the habit that rebuilds ambition is simple curiosity. And curiosity has the power to reopen doors you thought were already closed. If this story made you reflect on your own life, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. What is one idea you once dismissed that you might give another chance today? If you enjoy thoughtful stories about life, ambition, and personal growth, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more lessons like this. Thank you for spending these minutes with us. And wherever you are in your journey, we wish you courage, clarity, and a life that continues to grow.